only speed can also mean that you are attempting a lot without having much of a output because you
Accuracy.
might not score well. Yes. So you really need a lot of accuracy in it. Analysis is really the backbone of our preparation. We often tend to think that, oh, the more we mug up, the more we learn, the better we get. But it is really not it.
No.
It's really all about remembering during the exam. And the only way you can do it is through analysis. I actually gave almost, I don't know how many, maybe 200 over 2-3 months in this manner with sectional tests and mock tests.
What was your score in SSC? Because you belong to English, I would say. CGL
Yes.
mains this year?
In English,
Yes.
it was 135 out of 135.
I'd rather be silent. Welcome all of you here. Here is another one in this series. We have many students qualifying SSC CGL examination this year. Today we have Sagarika, one of those, once again, who hasn't qualified SSC once. She has qualified SSC twice consecutively. She qualified CGL 2024 but didn't get the desired post. She qualified CGL 2025 again. Let's hear her story from her. Welcome, Sagarika, from our side. Would like to hear something from your side.
First of all, I'd really like to thank all of you for this wonderful opportunity to be able to share my journey with you. So, my name is Sagarika Hemram. I am from West Bengal. I have completed my education from Bhattabhavan Dankuni, and later on, I have graduated from Vishwabharati University in English Honours. So, I also belong to a scheduled tribe community, which is Santali. And although I have born and brought up in amidst Bengali community, I belong to a scheduled tribe community.
So, if I'm not wrong, then this should be rare because I usually don't come across people from scheduled tribe and such community. So it should be rare in your community to qualify government examinations. In my opinion, you must be setting an example for those people also who belong to your community, and they must be getting motivated towards qualifying government examinations these days. Congratulations from our side. Would like to know something about mock tests. When did you started taking mocks seriously?
Okay, so since my preparation journey has been for 2 years, I initially only focused on revisioning, mugging up a lot of things. But with time, I realized that it's really difficult to keep a track of what are the things you're learning or how much you memorize things without having a proper kind of assessment of it. तो तभी मैंने start किया था mocks देना. But initially मैं उतना अच्छे से mocks नहीं देती थी, पर first time when I could not get my desired post because of the lower score, of course, I decided that this year, since all my basics are clear, I should focus mainly on mocks. And that was when I really giving as many mocks as possible. And I think that really made a big change this attempt.
Great. How consistent you were when it comes to mocks?
So initially, when my basics were not that clear, I would give one or two sectional mocks from time to time. But once after the first attempt, when my basics were clear, my foundation was absolutely set, I decided that I should give daily mocks. I had some groups that I had joined initially where all of us would settle on a certain mock, and then we will give olive mode mocks daily. And then we will assess the scores, where we lag, how we are lacking. And also there was this one function in Oliveboard where you can check the analysis of how your test was. So we would check that. And through that, with the help of that, we would connect the dots and also make ourselves better.
What benefits did you get from that consistent mock practice?
I think this exam, definitely, as it's a competitive exam, it is very important to have a good speed. But only speed can also mean that you are attempting a lot without having much of a output because you might
Accuracy.
not score well. Yes. So you really need a lot of accuracy in it. And I think giving mocks helps you think clearly during the exam. So when you are in speed, oftentimes, especially in maths, you tend to make a lot of silly mistakes. I used to make
Obviously.
them too. My calculation was horrible. I would often make 5, 9, I would write 6 and then forget that it's 7. So when I started giving mocks regularly, that accuracy increased to a great extent.
I usually hear from students that at one point their score becomes constant. Any turning point in your journey that boosted your confidence?
Yes, definitely. If I talk about pre, there was a time when my score got stuck at 130 to 140. And also then due to the new pattern and the new vendor, I also saw that my marks were starting to drop to 120, 110. And that was probably the lowest phase of my preparation because I could not see my scores going up.
Oh.
And I feel like whenever I had to look for some kind of advanced mock, I always tend to look towards Oliveboard because I must say कि जो भी questions है ना, they're very well regulated. बहुत सारे platforms है जहाँ पर जो questions है वो उतना well regulated नहीं है, कुछ भी पूछ दिया, right? But in Oliveboard, I used to see that there is a pattern, there is some relevance to it. So when I got stuck at that phase, I used to focus on revisiting the questions or the topics that I often could not get right. सो जीके के हो सकता है अगर पॉलिटी के हो पॉलिटी के जो नए क्वेश्चंस जो बीएनएस था या फिर कुछ भी था मैं वो बार बार जाके मैं रिविजिट करती फिर सीए हो सकता है करंट अफेयर्स में कुछ टॉपिक जो मैंने ऑलिव बोर्ड में देखा जैसे इंडियन डायपोल का क्वेश्चन था मैं वो जल्दी जल्दी गूगल करके मैं फिर से जाती थी सो दैट वे the more I revisited the questions, I could not get it right, the more I got better at it. And I think after consistent effort of 1 to 2 months, I finally started seeing my scores improve a lot.
Superb. Your basics must be so strong that in just 1 or 2 months, your scores start increasing. Great. May I ask how dependent you were on our mock subscription?
Very much. I think I took it for 2 years consistently, right? And I think just as I mentioned, कि olive board के जो questions है, they're really worthy of like considering. क्योंकि एग्जाम के साथ वो इतना अच्छा सिंक अप किया हुआ है ना, so relevant, I feel. And the levels are not very easy that you feel like, oh, ये तो हो जाएगा. But the more you start giving the exam, especially the live test, which is open to all, and that is how I began actually, I got acquainted to it. The live test question sections are very good, especially math and GK, where we all stumble upon, right? So yeah, definitely Olive Board has helped me thoroughly a lot, really a lot.
Thanks a lot for the appreciation and support. Enough about mocks. There is another segment, analysis. So how did you analyze your mocks?
Okay, so to begin with, I had watched a lot of toppers video to get an idea how to actually analyze it.
I'm sorry for the
So
interruption. Many will be watching your video also, and they'll say, I've watched a lot of toppers video, including you.
definitely, and I hope I'll be able to help them as well.
Sure.
So what I used to do is that I used to maintain two copies. In one, I would write the marks that I will achieve in every, that can be sectional, that can be full marks, anything. I will write down the marks, like subject wise maths, reasoning, English. And there will be another copy where I'll write down the specific questions which I tend to get wrong multiple times. Then I'll also sometimes have written certain addition notes along with it. So that way, Oliveboard has a analysis section, right? There, they would also suggest that your this topic is not good. You're getting this topic multiple times wrong. So I would focus on those topics, and through my consistent assessment of how I'm improving, what which kind of sections I'm getting wrong again and again, I will continue focusing on it and then improving. And also, since we have Google now, it has gotten a lot easier to search up any topic. I would just go on YouTube, search for that particular topic, and I'll have the entire thing with me. So that is how I really focused on improving myself.
In the past 2 years, by the way, I've been teaching since 2013, but in the past 2 years, a lot of students have gone through, they have the same, yours has the same, that we maintain two copies. I'm not saying this to praise her. Obviously, she deserves that. But those who are watching me, watching her, there are two copies that they maintain. In one, they write your score, and the other one, they write the mistakes that they commit frequently, so that during the examination or just before the examination, they can revise what are the mistakes they frequently commit, can help them resolve them. Great. Did analysis help you improve your accuracy and time also?
Yes, definitely. I feel like analysis is really the backbone of our preparation. We often tend to think that, oh, the more we mug up, The more we learn, the better we get. But it is really not it.
No,
It's really all about remembering during the exam. And the only way you can do it is through analysis. The more you know about yourself, how are you going to improve if you don't know where you are lacking? So, yes, I do think analysis really helps. And I believe that everyone who is seriously preparing for this exam should thoroughly assess themselves. They don't really need anyone else to tell them because you are the only one who can be the best judge for yourself, right? So
perfect.
the more you analyze, the better you get. That's what I believe. And speed and accuracy, definitely. In case of assessing how you're doing, it's also important to see, especially for maths, that how long you're taking to solve a single questions. Because for me, I had this set mind. Now, although the pattern might change a bit, because I have heard that there are kind of sectional timers. However, it applies to all of us since we are already used to giving
Yes.
sectional tests, right? So I used to have this map in my mind that for simple questions, I will spend around 30 to 40 seconds if possible. For longer question, maybe 1 minute. And at best, for the longest one, 1.5 minutes maybe. But of course, that is not the case always, right? But there should be a balance to it. And that balance only comes from your practice. The more you know that which kind of questions can take you how long, that also comes from analysis itself. So definitely, it definitely improves your speed and accuracy, of course. The more you practice, the better you get.
Commendable. Surely commendable. I'm sure there must be many friends of yours also or students in your touch who attempt mocks but skip analysis. So any advice from your side who skip analysis?
Yes, definitely do not skip. That would be my advice. Actually, I have a very close friend of mine who used to be very afraid of mocks initially. When I finally got them into the mocks, they were afraid of analyzing it because they were afraid that they might find mistakes which should be too overwhelming for them to fix it later on. But I believe that unless you start rectifying the mistakes, how are you going to change? So definitely do not skip it. Otherwise, you might not see the improvement or see the rank itself. We don't only just want to clear it as well, right? We also want certain dream posts that we are all opting for. So it's essential that you do analyze as much as possible.
Something from our side for those who skip analysis or struggle with analysis, we have started a new series, Think Like AIR1 series by Shubham Agrawal, the topper of SSC CGL 2024. Sagarika, do you think such guided sessions will help students?
Yes, definitely. It took me a long time to get a hand around it, to actually know how to analyze my mistakes and all of that. And if
Obviously.
there's already someone who's handing it out, I think it's a great deal.
So, what's the right point for beginners? Topic wise tests or full length mocks?
Definitely, after your basics are cleared, I would say it would be topic wise test. But actually, I believe that sectional test is the right place to begin. Because if
Perfect.
you start with the sectional, you would know which topics you are not getting right. If you just prepare a topic and then give a chapter test or topic test, that way you are already acquainted with the topic and then just you are giving the exam. But when you give the sectional exam, you are then aware of which topic exactly in between the exam you're not being able to solve. So I believe sectional test would be better. At least give 1, 2, 3 sectional tests, then analyze which topics you are not getting, and then practice those topics, and then return to the topic test. That way, you will be a lot better.
Your last line is surely impressive and quite motivating for everyone who heard that. You can just go back and listen to that once again, everyone watching it. How did you balance your topic wise tests and mock tests?
So basically, first of all, I really focused on clearing my foundations. And as I already mentioned, right? So what I used to do was I used to give one live test, of course, every Saturday or Sunday. Then daily I used to give full mocks. This is only after my basics were cleared. After
Clear.
first attempt, I knew there was like not anything new to study in that sense of term. Like I need to practice more. So I would give daily mock test, which is the Oliveboard. There are CGL. There will be like multiple mock tests, CGL1, CGL2, CGL3, like that. So I'll give those daily mock tests. And after that, I'll have this 1 hour or 2 hours of everyday slot of study time for each subject. With that, additionally, I'll give one sectional test. Although that sounds a lot, but I really got used to this. So I actually gave almost, I don't know how many, maybe 200 over 2, 3 months in this manner with sectional tests and mock tests. So that
Sweet
helped me a
are
lot.
the fruits of hard work. For those who struggle with the topic-wise tests, we have started a new series, SSC Super Practice Kit, with 7 stages, 7 levels of topic-wise tests, especially for maths, reasoning, GKGS also. In your opinion, Sagarika, this series and such series will help students analyze the topic-wise tests pretty much?
Yes, definitely. I believe everything that you can take from teachers is best because you would have lesser thing to do.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much once again. Toughest phase or time in your preparation and how you overcame it?
Yes, as I mentioned, actually, my toughest phase would definitely be after my first attempt. Because everyone wants to clear it in first attempt, right? And since I could not get my desired post, and I was really rethinking my decisions, and that was the time. But anyways, I decided that since I have chosen this path, I should work on it and really own it. So I started preparing once again, and here I am after 1 year.
Congratulations once again. Your words were everyone wants to clear. You cleared it in the very first attempt, but not getting that desired post, not leaving that path. If I've started, I'll walk on it. Superb. The choice of words that you have chosen. Great. Strongest section and weakest section and how you worked on them.
Okay.
As I remember,
So
excuse me,
def
that you mentioned you
Hmm,
completed master's honors in English, if I'm not wrong.
yes.
So,
Yes. So definitely, of course, my strongest section is English. I honestly did not have to think much about it. I used to probably prepare 1 or 2 hours daily at max, and most of that was mock tests, sectional tests, English. My weakest section would definitely be GK, as everyone struggles with it. And
everyone.
yes, and I believe that I really cannot summarize which kind of sources I use because I used to take whatever I get from wherever possible. But what really helped me keep in track was definitely at the end the mock test because I knew exactly which questions or which kind of topics I had to keep in mind while giving the exam. And apart from GK, there is definitely maths, which we all struggle with, right? So those would be my two weakest subject for maths. I had to practice really a lot. There is really no other way out. You have to really practice, practice, and practice unless you get best at it. I believe that for CA, current affairs, the sources are very important. You cannot stumble upon everything and pick it up and call it a day. One cannot remember endless number of informations. So what I would suggest is pick up the topics that are the most relevant for that year. And there are multiple PDFs available on Telegrams and multiple groups. You can access that and then add it to your collection of notes. That way you can really boost up your CA game.
If you don't mind, may I ask you, I'm sorry, what was your score in SSC? Because you belong to English, I would say. CGL
Yes.
mains this year?
In English,
Yes.
it was 135 out of 135.
I'd rather be silent. Once again, would love to appreciate. Great, great, great. It doesn't matter you belong to, say, you completed your master's or bachelor's in English. Scoring 100% in SSC examinations, where one question may drag you out of the race, also is beyond my words, beyond any praise and anything such. Great. 135 out of 135. Many get selected, but very, very few score 100%. Superb. What about the number of hours you used to study? And did it change during the peak preparation?
Okay, so one thing I'd really like to mention here, I do firmly believe that the number of hours you put in does not equate to the number, how much your preparation is going well.
Great.
Because
Great.
it really depends on the intensity, the consistency you're putting in, and the effort you're putting in your studies. If you study 12 to 14 hours a day, you might not be studying as efficiently one would have studied in 8 hours. So
Superb.
for me personally, since I'm very used to studying long hours since my college era, in fact, from school era, I used to study almost 8 to 10 hours daily, if not more. And it increased even further before the examination of my second attempt. I would say as many hours as possible in a day, apart from the other things to do. So, but in itself, my routine was that I would put in at least 2 hours for every section. For 2 hours for English, 2 hours for maths, 2 hours for reasoning. And apart from that, rest would be either for mocks, sectional, assessing, anything add up, current affairs, whatever I can do. So this was my routine throughout.
Great choice of words again. Honestly, it justifies your selection, not only in the first attempt, but also getting the desired post in the second attempt. Uh, Number of hours may vary, as you said, and it is. What about mock frequency? And did it change during the peak preparation? I mean, mains?
Yes, as I mentioned, I used to give mocks daily. It really matters. And I feel like not only the mocks, giving mocks daily is not the only thing you have to do. You also have to assess them daily, and you also have to revisit the questions daily, the ones you got wrong. Because that way, you are not just amping up your mock numbers. You are also focusing on the areas that you need to work on more
Work on.
just before the exam. Yes, so that really helps a lot if you can be consistent with your mocks. And especially even if you are a beginner, I would suggest you to give at least one full mocks every week. That way you will keep a check on how much you are studying or whatever your progress is.
So we started from starting journey, then here, mains. Everyone has a doubt. How did you handle the exam day stress?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Um, uh, this is all about mindset. The more I focused, the more I practiced, I was actually preparing myself. I believe this is for every aspirant. We all are preparing for that very day. Because no matter how good in your mocks you are, how well you are performing, you might be getting 370, 390 out of 390. But on the day of the exam, there
Exactly.
might be something that happens, maybe very small thing. I still remember during my CGL I had some issues with my ID card, something voter Aadhaar PAN card, and in the gate I was stopped. I was asked to bring the another ID card I have. So that definitely puzzled me a bit, and due to that, my score in that was a bit lesser than I had expected. Thankfully, that did not happen to me during the mains exam, but definitely. So I believe this is all about mindset to not panic. That is the mindset. You must not panic during an exam. And this panic only comes during the exam if you're not used to giving exams. If you're not
Exactly.
used to giving handling the exhaustion or the palpitation that happens to you during the exam, you'll not be able to do well no matter how much you know. And this happens to everyone, I believe.
It
So
does.
when you are giving the mocks at home, you should be giving it very seriously. It's not like I'll get up one time, two time to whatever may be the reason to bring some water to amend. But the thing is that you should give it very seriously. The more seriously you give the mocks at home, the better your exams will be. I personally was not stressed during the exam. I was only stressed during the computer section because, of course, as you know, this year it was a tough job to clear.
Exactly.
But apart from that, I was very cool. Even though during the maths, I would mention, yes, many would say that the questions were very easy or whatever. For me, the last few questions were a bit tricky, and since most of us do what our attempt strategies is, we go for the easy one first, then a middle ones, then the toughest ones, right? So when I got towards the end of the math section and there were trickier questions to handle, I panicked a bit. I really panicked a bit. That then within those 1 minute or 1.5 minute, I pulled myself back and I answered as many as I could. So I believe this only comes from the giving practice
Practice.
of giving exams. Yes. So that is it. Do not stress. Focus on your preparation. Believe in yourself. Unless you believe in yourself, you are never going to give a good exam because you are going to panic whether I know it or not. But I was sure that yes, I know it. I just have to perform it. So that is it, I guess.
Stay cool, calm, composed. Uh,
Yes.
any last minute revision strategy that worked for you?
Yes, definitely. I think I have many tips to give here, actually.
Would love to hear.
Especially for Yes, especially for subjects like GK. I initially, of course, as we go through multiple notes, we have multiple teachers helping us throughout our journey. We make a lot of notes. Right? It can be anything. But what I did before the exam, I would say in last 3, 4 months, is that I had this one notebook, or you can say a one diary, where I would jot down all the necessary information, the important ones. I would jot it all of down, and then beside it, I would write very short, crisp things that can be asked during the exam. This way, I had a shorter version, even like shortest version of my note possible. And whenever I look at my shortest note, I will be able to remember all the longer things I wrote in my actual notebook. So this way, I focused on active recalling, what some might call it. So I had the short ones prepared. I knew what happened when, whatever it is, whatever the articles there are, whatever it is, and I'll have the longer versions prepared in my mind as well, because I know what was written in my exact long notebook. So this thing really helped me a lot. And apart from that, for maths, I had this one notebook once again. Notebooks are all the game thing here. I had the notebook where I would jot down all the necessary, you can say formulas or whatever it is. And then I will also have important questions or tricky questions. Those were different from the regular ones. I'll jot down those as well. So I kind of focused on these things. And for English, I had this very small notebook which I
No,
used
I
to
didn't have
maintain.
anything for English.
I did have some because there are certain words which gets very difficult, right? I still remember this word imbroglio. Okay, if you ask me now, I do not remember the meaning of it, but I remember seeing it in one of the mock tests. So I had this one notebook, but I barely revisited it, but I had it as an emotional support.
Exactly. Must be. I was kidding, but yes, we can't take anything lightly. Just like this year happened, computers, everyone was taking lightly, but became drastic. Many scored 354, but they got disqualified because of computer also. Any last
Yes.
piece of advice from your side for CGL 2026 aspirants?
Yes. I think there are 5 things that you really need to focus on in your preparation, especially if you're preparing seriously. One thing is speed, of course. You cannot do anything without speed. Second thing is accuracy. Speed without accuracy is a lost cause. Third of all, you need to keep a good mindset. You should not panic. You have to believe in yourself, your preparation. Fourth thing is you have to be well acquainted with the syllabus itself. Be well prepared of whatever can be asked. And fifth one is definitely the art of skipping. You have to know
Wow.
which questions you have to skip,
Wow.
and you have to be aware which questions are doable for you. Even if some questions are easy and you're stuck at it because your ego is hurting, no, I know this question and must be able to solve it, that is a lost cause once again. You could have answered 4 to 5 questions by that time, right?
Right.
But you are stuck in one question, and that happens to many. And the last one is the knowledge of elimination, right? Some options can be easily eliminated just by looking at it. Multiple search teaches that, and you should be able to do that if you want to do it with speed and with accuracy.
Accuracy
So
also.
those are my 6 pointers.
Great. Every time, fortunately, when I come across people like you, students will get motivated for sure. They are in that journey. I'm not, but I personally will say that again, that I feel motivated now because of many keywords that you have mentioned. Many keywords over there. Special emphasis to that one when you were saying I had a personal notebook for GS in which just short lines were written. When I read that, I remember what was the longer version. In my mind, there was like opening Google Chrome, Facebook, WhatsApp, Gmail, Twitter, this, and that. Just by looking at Twitter, oh, I was posting that. So we remember the whole story. Oh, Gmail, yes, I was forwarding that mail to someone. We remember the whole story. That was probably I heard for the first time, to be honest. Making keywords and then remembering the whole story. Everyone who can apply this, you will save at least 3 to 6 months what she did. And yes, we have the same goal. Need to qualify the examination not only once, but also more than once also. Thank you so much for being here. I repeat, Your words were not only motivating for the students, but also for me also and many others out there. Thanks a lot. And that line is in my mind once again. I don't think so I should say this or not, but if you belong to a community that is pretty rare and people like you who qualify from that community also defines, justifies that these days we don't have any barriers. We may belong to a small town, we may belong to a small community, we may be in the distant part of the country, but if we work hard, we will get selected for sure. People watching it live or later, if she can do this, we can do this. Take a lot from her, the motivation, the keywords, the guidance, the approach, the analysis, everything such, and do apply this. Thank you so much for being here with all of us. Thanks a lot. In future, if you
Thank you very
do
much, sir.
anything else also, sorry,
Thank you very much, sir, for having me here. I'm
thanks to
really
you
glad to
too.
be able to
And
share my journey.
sure. And in the upcoming future also, if you appear in anything else, for example, many students say, this is not my last goal, I wish to appear in UPSC also. Anything you have in your mind, you
Yes, I
start your
do.
own business or whatever. But all the best of luck from our side for all your future endeavors. Thanks a lot. Truly motivating for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.